Good morning.
Yay!
Welcome to the Business Heroes Podcast. I am Victor Pyle and I'm turning my phone off.
There we go. That's how we start, you all.
Always got a kink to work out.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Victor Pyle,
And I am Mia Pyle.
my beautiful better half. And this is the Business Heroes Podcast. And we are excited this morning to have not just one, but two people on. We've got a beautiful couple here. And if you notice the title of the show, is Stressed Out Single Mom of Three Finds Love, Purpose, and Business. And I think that's an eye catcher. If anything.
Man, I am like our visitor. We have a guest already on saying, I can't wait. Betty Ann, I'm with you. I cannot wait.
She put that before the show. That was at 8:36 this morning.
Listen, I'm with her. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this interview for quite some time. And so I'm so excited to have our special guest on today. And listen, though, we know we have to tell you a little bit for those of you who may be watching the show for the first time. You already know who we are, Victor and Mia. However, this is the Business Heroes Podcast, where we highlight business heroes. Okay. What is a business hero? That is an entrepreneur or a high performing professional that is seeking purpose, profit, and passion so that they can affect the world for good. And that is definitely what we have going on here today. Okay. Like the person that's coming on, the family, right? Thank you. They're just amazing. And I mean, author, speaker, presenters,
chef.
They can cook, y'all. Okay. And on top of everything, they're just cool people. And so I'm so excited that they'll be coming on today.
As a matter of fact, if you remember a couple of months ago, we had Chef Emmanuel Smith that was on. Right. And we went to his health event, I think about a week later. And that is where we met Sochel and I want to say Randy, but Randy's
Maurice.
Maurice.
Yes.
You know, when I saw the last name is Dandy. So I don't know why I had to keep working. It's not Randy.
That's okay.
It's Maurice and Sochel Dandy. And so we connected and we said, we've got to have y'all on the show.
Got to have them on the show. Okay. So we're going to tease you all and make you listen to us just a little bit longer before we bring them on here. And I just wanted to say, Victor, you know, as business heroes, it's so important, like, to think about family, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about our show today, because in our brand, family is really important to us. Like, you can't see me right now, but I'm holding Victor's hand. But like, family is so important to us, you know, as we become profitable, as we are pursuing our passions. A lot of times as entrepreneurs or high performing professionals, we can be tempted to leave our families behind. And that's another reason why I love the couple that's coming on today, because they have a whole restoration family ministry that they're going to be able to tell us about. And I just think that, okay, I want to say this is a little commercial. Okay. I like to flirt with my husband on the show. Is that okay? Can I flirt with him? So I don't know if this is a good flirt, but
nobody's going to say no.
Okay. So you know. You're right. Cause I couldn't hear them anyway. Right. Unless they, okay.
By the way, if you have comments during the course of the show, not particularly about us flirting, but if you have comments or questions, please put them below. And if you know somebody that can benefit from hearing this show, especially if they're single, they're an entrepreneur, or even if they're not an entrepreneur, but they're struggling and you see some potential in them for greatness, even though they might not see it, please go ahead and share this show with them. You can send it even now, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Just click the link and say, hey, I think you really need to watch this. I think this is going to be good for you. Go ahead and do that for us. And also feel free to like, share, and subscribe. All right.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you did that. What I wanted to say is I wanted to make sure I smelled good when I sat beside you. That's what I wanted to say, because has anybody else experienced this? Okay, you know, you like smell good for the public when you go to work and stuff like that, but when you're in your home, you might, you know, just be regular, you know what I mean? Or worse, right? But I wanted to smell nice when I was sitting beside you. I just wanted to smell nice. I wanted to look nice. I mean, I had to look nice for the show, but anyway, is this awkward? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to smell nice too.
You do. You smell good.
Good.
All right.
Amen. All right. So with that being said, we don't have our word of the day, but as Mia was talking about the importance of not leaving your family behind, it reminded me of an African proverb, or at least I think it's an African proverb. It's a proverb. Let's just go there.
All right.
And it essentially says you can go faster by yourself, but you go further with your tribe or with community or with, I know I'm not exactly quoting it, but you know, some people feel like, man, you know, I've got to do this, this, and this. People are slowing me down. my family's slowing me down, my team is slowing me down. I can go faster by myself. Yeah, you might go faster, but you might burn out because you don't have any support. You don't have a team. The team, you can get a lot further. The Bible talks about how having a partner, a person to work with you, it's like you have a team. So,
That's right.
By yourself, you can be cold. At least if you got one person, you can be,
be a little warmer.
A little warmer.
Man, this is really intense though, because I really love what you're saying, Victor. But now we're talking about single moms, and how many single moms really feel lonely. And even though they have family, is the family, do they feel that they can connect to their family? Do they feel that they can connect to their tribe? And is it hard to actually see couples? And so I'm so glad that Sochel will be able to come on, and Maurice, and be able to enlighten us today and talk to us about their story and their experience. And we're not going to make you wait any longer. We're going to go ahead and bring. All right, there they are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the show today. We are so excited. So we were telling the audience, that you all are just amazing. You're authors, you're entrepreneurs, you're high-performing professionals as well. You're amazing people. Can you just tell the audience that's watching and those that will watch a little bit more about yourselves?
Well, you want to start?
No, ladies first.
I'm Sochel Dandy, and this is my husband, Maurice Dandy. And
hello. Good morning.
I guess, what do you want to know? Like, what should we?
Yes, sure. So tell us, okay, this is oh man, it's like a feast that's in my mind, right? So first, Sochel, I want you to tell us, you were a single mom, right? And can you just kind of share with us, what's your story? How is it that you were a single mom? What was that experience like for you? And I'll pause there because I have so many more questions for you, but let me not get ahead of myself.
And see, if we were by ourselves, just the four of us, I would say, give us the whole thing. But because we were trying to work, we got more questions, kind of condense it just a bit. And we're going to have to schedule lunch or something. Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess really quickly, and I don't use this as an excuse, but your experiences kind of, And so I grew up in a really sheltered home where my mom or my parents never basically talked to you about anything, it's that kind of Caribbean type thing. Talk. So I kind of grew up really sheltered, not really knowing about birds and the bees and all this stuff, So when I went off to college, I had a lot of freedom. And so with that freedom, and yes, I did know right from wrong, and I did grow up in a Seventh-day Adventist household, and just that freedom and and I'm not saying my friends were horrible, but they did things that I didn't believe in.
Right.
And so that kind of got me, into the realm of, doing worldly things. And so I ended up having my first son sophomore year of college, but growing up Caribbean, it's like school. So I'm like, even though I have my son, I have to finish college. So that was on my mind. So I still finished on time and everything.
Wow.
Right after I had another daughter.
Right.
And then I had a son. So I have 3 kids out of wedlock. And so that's how I became a single mother.
Wow. This is really intense because what I'm hearing you say is that culture really can play a part in how we see things and how we interact in the world, right? And so that was what you had going on in terms of your belief system, right? Like how you were cultured or how you were raised. And do you feel like, the way you were raised, because I hear you saying I was sheltered, I didn't really know a lot. In what ways did that sheltering also kind of help you and protect you, even though you made a mistake, as you say?
Right. Because I guess when you get older, you see a lot of things that you thought your parents would do as just overbearing, but you see where they were, they were trying to help you. And so, I realized that and not that I didn't like growing up Christian, but I do realize that all the things that my parents were instilling in me was for my protection. It wasn't just trying to, not trying to like just, keep me from having fun.
Right.
And so even though I went through those things, like I had to remember. So it's so funny because like in college, they made you think like fun is going to all the frat parties,
right.
Drinking. Not that I drink to get drunk, but I was curious, it's like, oh, right. This drink is good, so I'll try it and stuff like that. And okay. And so, after that experience, after, getting back to church and getting to know God and stuff, I didn't want to be bored. And so I just started, doing things that made me happy again and was fun. And, I love walking. I love nature. So I did that more with my kids. Then I was kind of like the party house, but it wasn't that type of party. It was basically getting together and having like karaoke parties with all the youths, and I love to cook. So, who doesn't love to eat? So I'd always have food. The youths will come over, or the young adults who have surprise birthday parties at their house, so things like that. And so that's one thing I decided to show my kids, so they know that being a Christian isn't boring. So when you get out there, you don't have to go wild and go into the world and do the things the world are doing. So they can never say I never showed them like how to have fun without and just briefly,
powerful.
I remember I had a friend and she was like, oh, so we were gonna have like a girls' night, and she's like, should I bring some wine? And I was like, no, don't bring any wine. And so in her mind, she was just like, okay, girls night without wine, but whatever. So she came, and of course there was no wine and stuff because I don't drink. Like, in college I did, but no. And so we had so much fun, And after she confided in me and she's like, thank you for doing this. She's like, because I really in my mind, I really thought that, how was it going to be fun without having wine, So, things like that. And it wasn't like I set out to be like, oh, I'm just going to show everybody that, it wasn't like that. It was like, just stood on my beliefs and what I believe. And, the Lord, God got the glory, of course,
Yes. Man, this is really powerful. Like, I want to ask you, and I don't know about Victor, but I want to ask the both of you, if you don't mind to share, or either of you, what advice would you actually give to parents, whether they're Caribbean or Southern, because I know like the Southern culture that I grew up in is very similar to Caribbean culture. Are you Southern, Maurice, as well? Where are you from, Maurice?
I was raised as a Southern gentleman.
See? All right. Right. So the culture is very similar in terms of, depending on your household, what's going to be going down, right? And so what advice would you all give to parents? Because, I mean, you're kind of saying it like, but are there any like key takeaways for parents like that are, maybe sheltering their kids or very afraid that they're going to be lost and, I can't let you do this, that, the other, like what would you say to those parents? Like, if you had to just outline it.
I would say, first of all, the teaching and the raising starts at home.
Yeah.
Because I too am a product of being raised by a single mother. But as far as a male figure in my life was my grandfather, my mother's father. But my mother was open with us because she was doing it by herself, and situations had happened where it affected my brother. But she realized then, by having two young male children and then, a daughter, she had to, to teach us. Because if the parents at home don't teach us, the world will, and will teach us the wrong way. But I would say Christ first, and always be open with your children. Have those family dialogues, because as well as I do, being Southern, not taking anything away from the Caribbeans, but to sit down. We used to sit down at the table and eat and and talk about our day, have that connection. But like I said, the teaching and the raising starts at home, because if you teach your children from the Word of God, you will give them that solid foundation. So when they go out into the world, and it's like if you done school them at home, they'll know what to be aware of whenever they go out into the world. And those solid core values from the Word of God will never leave them. It would always be with them.
Wow, that is really powerful. And you're so right, because the Word of God definitely talks about sexuality. It talks about human behavior. It highlights the ups and downs of the prophets and the saints, right? Of where they were on the mountaintop with God and in the valley low in sin. And so just going through the Bible will give them a realistic view of humanity. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Were you going to say?
And I also want to highlight too, and that's one thing that as far as when you start talking about sex, as far as with children in the home, I think it's better for your parents to teach you and to tell you, because just be open. My mother was the one that told me what a condom was.
Right.
You talking about awkwardness. I mean, it was awkward. Right. But if she hadn't took that chance and told me about a condom, I'd probably have kids all over the place and be stricken with disease.
Right.
I mean, you have to have those awkward conversations, but I tell you, as a parent, you have to go with the mentality and of your child. It's like you express and share with them geared to their age. But, it's best that a parent do share those, have those awkward and conversations with them, because if not, you will have a boatload of grandkids or kids out here. And I graduated with guys. By the time I graduated, it was guys that had like 4 and 5 kids.
Wow.
And I'm like, and it's so for the family unit to be together, the mother and father in the home, but for the father is the one to give their sons the identity, and the daughters to look at what they are to marry. The mother is the nurturer in the home, but that father is so prevalent to be in the home.
Wow. And can you imagine? I mean, we're talking about, and I see you over there bubbling with comments, but like, man, I'm thinking even just on a practical level, right? Financially, you said that by the time your classmates are graduating, they have 4 children. So what does that mean for you financially, especially as a culture, right? Where we are harvested upon, I would say, to be in debt. You get what I'm saying? And to have all these like burdens financially, and children are not a burden, children are a blessing. But now if you don't have that mindset that they're a blessing, and you have 4 of them, right? And the system is going to guide you as to how you're going to do that, then how will you build wealth so that you can give back into the community and grow the community? Exactly. And so that's really intense. Wow. Am I good?
Yeah. So I mean, I love what I'm hearing. This is great. And I think we've got some more questions, or we want to go. So Shell, you told us about, how, having kids and all that, and then kind of coming back to the Lord, so to speak, or just kind of realizing, this isn't all that it's been cracked up to be. Let me choose a different way. Where does Maurice come into the story?
Ooh, yeah.
And then from there, how do you all blossom? Did you become an entrepreneur before meeting Maurice, or y'all got together and things sprung out that way? Like, how's that happen?
Nice.
Okay, so I'll start from the back, from the last question. So I guess I've always had that entrepreneur mindset, because I grew up with a family in Trinidad where literally everybody had their own business. So that was the norm. And so that was something that stuck with me. And so I've always wanted to do that. And even my family over here, they own restaurants and stuff like that. But and that's just something I've always wanted to do. But taking the path I took, it was kind of hard. And the one thing that I love is cooking. And so I've always done that. And I before him, I had started doing small catering jobs here and there for like the church and families and stuff like that. And he came in when I was living my best life, having Jesus parties at my house. Okay. That's before people think, but no, like karaoke parties. And I had already because I had prayed to the Lord, and I said, if I'm not supposed to get married, then let me be content. Let me be happy. And I was content and happy. And not saying I didn't have the desire to have a mate, a helpmate, but I was in a good space. And then he just came through the door at this I wasn't even gonna go. So one of our friends was having a dinner for all the youth from our church. He goes to Shelbyville Church, and I go to Nashville first, down Nashville. And she was having a dinner, like a gathering and a dinner. And you know, I wasn't gonna go because it was raining, and when it's raining, I don't like going anywhere. But I'm like, well, you know, I promised her, so let me go. And we were sitting there waiting for some guy. So, you know, I love Indian food because in my culture, it's in Trinidad, it's like the culture is mostly like half Indian and half black. So it's like, you know.
Yes.
So they were Indian and they cooked Indian food and the food was smelling so good. But they made us wait for almost an hour because some guy named Maurice was coming. And I'm sitting there like, why can't we eat? He's late. And then he came through the door with a bow tie.
Bow tie. Nice. Nice bow tie, man.
The reason why I was late is because I had a cousin that had passed away and I was at the memorial service. And just so happened, it was on the same day as this social dinner. Wow. And, you know, and then too, you know, I too was thinking about not attending. I was just going to call and, you know, apologize. But I said, no, I gave my word. And that's something that my father always said. If you give a person your word, you're going to show up and you're going to be there.
Yes.
You got to go. So after the memorial service, I was flying down 231 north to go to Murfreesboro. But I was calling as I was on my way to let them know what was going on. And then I finally got there. But as I come up, I could see her through the door before I got inside the door.
All right now.
But you know, it's that I prayed for because see, I was married once before, and I was separated longer than I was divorced, but I was separated like 20 plus years.
Wow.
But you know, we are all human and we do have those desires, but you know, where you link with the Lord, He will fill that void. You know, because it's that you want to, you know, when you have been through trauma and trial and situations and things, you know, the enemy is always waiting to attack you at your weakest and lowest point.
That's right.
But by communing with the Lord and you spending time with the Lord, He will strengthen those areas that are weak. So therefore, you know, in short, that's what I did. I just stayed centered, you know, with Christ and doing church functioning. But, you know, and bring you back forward is that, you know, I prayed to the Lord. I said, if it's your will for me to be married again, that you send the one specifically designed for me. Okay, fast forward. Now here I am at this dinner. I had, you know, arrived and
I see that smile coming up. Look at that.
But I didn't talk to her right away. You know, the host that hosted the dinner, she took me around and introduced me to everybody. I went over and talked to her and as well as everybody else. But by the end of the night, I ended up talking to her and just so happened we knew a mutual individual and we exchanged numbers and 9 months later, you know, we ended up talking.
Yeah, it took him 9 months to actually ask me out.
This sounds familiar.
I mean, it seemed like you were already mad at the guy for being the one to hold up the food. So
I don't know why he was taking so long. I already knew he was the one from the first time I spoke to him.
Wow. Okay.
I had a list in my Bible for 2 years. I had a list in my Bible. But like I said, I had already, you know, like I was content, like if the Lord don't want me, you know, so I wasn't thinking about it. And it's so weird that the first conversation we had, and it's not like I set out to scratch off the list. Right. As I was speaking to him, I'm like, wait a second. And I'm like, Lord, is this the one? And in my mind, I'm like he literally scratched off everything on my list.
In one conversation.
Exactly. And I said, Lord, is this the one? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think the Lord would do this to me. Like send someone after all these years that's actually scratched off everything on my list. And then he's not for me. So when it took 9 months for him to actually like ask me out, I was kind of doubting. But, you know, it's kind of like, I need to stay still. But then I was like, maybe it's the wrong one. But eventually, you know.
So, Maurice, I got to ask, like, why 9 months?
Well, in that 9 month period, you know, I was still legally married to my ex-wife. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, not that I forgot about her, is that I knew that once I spoke to her, she was interested in me as well as me interested in her. Mm-hmm. But is that, you know, they say fools rush in. But like I said, I prayed to the Lord, and I'm like, if this is the one, I didn't want no hold up. I didn't want no blockades in the road, because of the way that I am. It's like, if I'm doing anything, it's like I make sure that I map everything out. I done checked all points, and all my progression is forward. I don't want to have to look back and, you know, backtrack. But is that, you know, once I was still legally married to, you know, my ex-wife, but once that cleared, within that 9 months, it's like man, I'm free. It's like because the church that I was attending, we had a sister church in Murfreesboro, and they was having this gathering, and I had mentioned it to her, and she ended up coming to the second one that we had in Murfreesboro, and she showed up, and from that point I saw her, but she came with a friend. I thought that she was talking to
all my kids and 3 of my friends.
That's right.
I'm not going by myself.
But I see my friend Brooks, which he was at the social that night too. But I thought they was together. But I'm like, okay, that's fine and good. I mean, I didn't, you know, tell about it for her to come to be with me. I just, you know, hope that she would come. But once I see him, but later on that night after, you know, I had called her and asked her how did she enjoy the, you know, the service or whatnot, and we talked. And next thing I know, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, hold on, wait a minute. I said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I said, I got to let you go. And she's like, why? I said, for one, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, then 2, I said, you know, I don't want to be disrespecting your friend. And she's like, who? I said, the guy you come to the, to the church with.
For hours.
She was like, that's just my friend.
Right.
I'm like, nah, because see, I'm like, I always put the shoe on the other foot. I'm like, what if it was me? I said, nah, I said, I don't want to be disrespectful. That's your man. And she's like, no, I'm telling you, we could call him right now. but it's like, after that, it's like, hands down, I knew. And it's like, the more we talked on the phone, I told my mother, I said, Mom, I said, this young lady that I'm talking with, my friend, I said, she's growing on me quick. And I'm the type, I've always been private, under the radar. I don't let people in my circle.
That's right.
I let people get real close to me, because like I said, I've been through things, and I look at how I grew up. And it's like, people that's in my circle, they bring something to the table.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I look at myself that way. If I'm going to be, you know, friends with anybody, I'm going to, you know, be what I just said is a friend, in which that's Christ reflecting from you to bring something to be able to help, not to just take away.
That's right.
People in your life that's always taken away, you need to, you know what I'm saying, reevaluate, and not being mean or whatever. But it's like, you have to cut ties. You're going in life, you're going to run into those situations. You're going to have to cut ties with people, because if they just suck in life and not bringing anything, is just that, because if you for progression, you got to do that. You're going to have to make hard choices in your life.
Wow. See, that's really powerful. Thank you, Maurice. And so I know we're in the midst of this love story, but as you're saying that, that's a really powerful point. What I hear you saying is having boundaries, right? Yeah. And this is totally a business concept, right? In the sense that, you know, as business people, we definitely have to have boundaries in our business so that we can be productive. Right? Are we, as a family, we have to have these boundaries so that we can have our family unit and have the family unit be shaped in the way that we would like it to have. But now the single mom piece, right? In your book, Sochel, you talk about, you know, that women are often single moms. Their boundaries are crossed. People take advantage of them. And as you highlighting this concept, Maurice, of being careful who comes into your circle, right. I just wanted to like dive into that piece just for a minute with the single moms and the fact that, you know, people prey on them. And if you don't mind to kind of share with us what that was like, Sochel, like what are some things that you would highlight for single moms that are watching? They may already know, but maybe just need to hear it again and be like, man, I've been ignoring these signs or flags, you know, or like, how can you tell us onlookers as well? Maybe we're not single moms or single families, but we have friends that are, and we want to be a good friend, you know, and help in this arena. And so can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I think the first thing, being a single mom, and not all single moms are like this at all, but I'm saying for some, like, don't be desperate. Like, I think that's one thing that allows single moms or single women to make like rash decisions or accept a man that, is probably not a good man because they may be desperate. So basically just being still and letting God lead you and just being happy, just enjoying the season that you're in, because funny story, like even when I got married, like there were times where I'm like, man, I do miss having my own bed, or not having to smell like roses every day. So enjoy that, like I guess I grew up where our household wasn't the perfect household, but my mom, one thing she instilled in us is like strength. And there was a time when I was a teenager, her and my dad, they had separated, which led into divorce. And so I never saw my mom bring like different men around us and stuff, like ever. She was never the type to just have men in her life, never. And so I grew up with that and seeing that. And so me, even though I became a single mom, like I knew that I didn't want different men around my children. I didn't want to, hook up with the wrong guy that's going to, my children were always first priority, always. Of course, God first. But, I didn't want anyone to, not accept my children and me, or just be mean, or just be a bad person. And I knew I wanted a priest of my household. And so when I came across men that, so there's this thing where men feel like, oh, because you're a single mom, what you want is someone that's financially stable, or have a house and a car and stuff like that. And you're just going to take anything as long as they have that. So you basically are going to stoop to a lower level and allow them to treat you any how. And that's not how I was. So yeah, I may be struggling, but I already know whom I serve. And guess who I've been dependent on as a single mother all this time? Not a man, God. Right. Because and I never say this to brag, but my children have never once been in public school. Mm-hmm. All three of them. And I know that's only because of God. Right. Like for example, there was one time I needed $1,500, and up to this day, I don't know who gave it. Like I needed $1,500 because it was, I had owed a bill for my oldest son, and then it was re-registration time again for the next year. And I was like, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna get this. I was like, but I'm depending on you because this whole time you've been providing. And so I remember I prayed about it, and I told my kids, I was like, let's pray about this. And I need you guys to believe that it's going to happen because, I don't have $1,500. And I remember we went to Wednesday night prayer meeting, and it was just a small group. So, I asked them to pray. And I remember the pastor prayed, and I got home, and there was someone had stuck a brown envelope in between the door, and it was exactly $1,500. Hallelujah. And there was a Bible verse that I wish I remember, but I know it was Habakkuk something. And I mean, like with things like that, it just gives you confidence to know that God, exactly, that God loves you and He's going to take care of you, and you don't have to stoop. You don't have to settle. So His timing.
Standards and sell yourself short.
Thank you. So His timing, don't, I mean, and a lot of, actually I think the part that hurt the most was when men from the church.
Wow.
So some of them would come as, oh, they want to mentor my son. And this is another thing I was really.
Talk about it.
Coming as, oh, they want to mentor my son. But then when you show up, they're asking you out. Okay, and then I had one who, invite me over to his house, and I'm not thinking anything. Right. I went over to his house, talking, getting to know each other, and he proceeds to, what? And when I say no, he tells me, oh, well, what did you think you were coming over here for? So just those things, you know. And then I had someone tell me, oh, well, you already have 3 kids, so what's the difference now with you know, things like that. And I want to tell single moms, don't let these words and, you know, these men make you, you know, do things that when the Lord say, and I'm gonna cry, sorry.
Take your time, baby. And see, and you know, I just want to, you know, stop you right there. Is that's what gives a bad rep to, you know, as far as us, you know, being in the church, and then, you know, especially being in this message, and then got the nerve to go out here and, you know, and express and to share it to the people representing Christ, but that's wrong representation.
Right.
And then it's like, once, you know, the truth is found out and it's heard about, it's like, well, whoa, wait a minute, you're a liar.
Wow.
It's just another, like a slap in. That's just like putting Christ back up on the cross. False representation, because like being his followers and being his children, we truly got to represent him. And it's like, you know, and as far as being in the church, you know, you got people coming from the world into the church already hurting. But then here it is, you got this facade and this mask on, and then it's like you praying on people that's hurt, thinking they don't know anything. And then it's like you giving the wrong representation. Then you have these people. It's like, well, why do I even need to be here? Because you're no different than what I'm experiencing out here.
Woo, come on.
Therefore, I mean, we got to be about what we say that we are. And it's like, you know, because it's like the world is coming from already a situation of hurt. And so, you know.
And just to finish, thank you. Wow. You know, so like I literally had to believe when the Lord forgave me for all my sins, that he has forgiven me, and I'm a new woman. You know, and you know, people have this thing in their mind too, that because you're a single mom, you were just out there, but literally, you know, kind of like I was like a foolish virgin, you know. That's what I like to call it. And not saying what I did was right because I was just foolish, but no, I wasn't out there. You know, there are people that I know that has been out there but have no kids, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, I know the Lord, I had to truly believe the Lord had forgiven me, because it took a while to even forgive myself, because I was like, I didn't grow up like this, you know, like my parents had kids together, you know, didn't have outside kids by different men or women. And so when I believe that, like nothing they say to me could, you know, of course it hurt, but could make me, you know, stoop to that level.
Wow, this is really powerful. And this is where I kind of want to dive into you guys talking about your business ministry. But this is really powerful because, you know, I'm hearing what we believe about God can really impact our mental health and our the way we show up in the world. You know, if I believe that God looks at me as less than because of my mistakes or things that I've done, and therefore I will look at myself as less than, and then I will make choices that are not worthy of who I really am and the identity that is for me in Christ. And so I thought that's really strong. I'm hearing you say that. I'm also hearing, you know, I heard you say women don't feel that you have to settle, you know, to anything because of what has happened in your life. I'm hearing that, you know, as church members, we really need to be mindful of how we look at other people, because, you know, I don't know about, I heard our pastor, Pastor Sparks, he's amazing. He talked about, how does it look, somebody pointing their crooked finger at another person, you know, like, look at you, but their fingers all mangled and crickled up, and however you say it, you know, and you're pointing fingers at other people, but your stuff's all messed up, you know. And the Bible talks about that. Before you can take, you know, the mote out of another person's eye, there's a beam in your own eye. And Jesus is saying that to every last one of us, you know. And I know I've been guilty of being that person who's got the crickled finger going on and having humongous beams in my eye, trying to help somebody over here that just has a little mote, you know, a little booger, you know what I'm saying? And so how do we look, you know? And our church people, Mia, you know, we need to keep our mouths closed and figure out what we can do to be of help and of service, not with our words, but with our actions. You know, like, I really appreciate that cheerful giver that gave $1,500 to help you. You know what I mean? That's what Christ is, I believe, asking the church to do, to be of service to the widows, to the mothers, to help, to be of help and of service. And so tell us, you all, I mean, this is really powerful. Like, you all have an amazing ministry, and just a little plug, okay? Like, she says she loves to cook. We had a chance to get their food. Listen, you need to connect to them, okay? They're going to talk to you about their restoration ministry, but when you connect to their restoration ministry, you're going to get a chance to get their food and their drinks and all of that good stuff. But anyway, don't let me get ahead of myself. You all have an amazing ministry that you all do, and it's about family. It's about, like, looking out for the family, lifting people up. Can y'all just talk to us about this? Like, what made you say, we got to do this? We've got to create this type of business that does this. Like, how did that calling come to you? How have you been moving forward in it?
Well, I mean, it came to my wife. She just told me the idea, and just going along with it. But from what she said, she wanted to name it the restoration. Well, when she said restoration, what came to my mind is that as this day and time, you see a lot of single parenting families.
Yes.
A lot of generational curses. And, and that's what came to my mind, is to break those generational curses, to bring the family back together, to have Christ center of the family, because, it's like, if Christ is center here, and then the father, the mother, and the brothers and sisters all dwell together, it's like, there's power in the blow that you strike.
Yes.
So, it's to put it back the way it was supposed to be. And, it's like, just because you have individuals out there single, by us being in Christ and, and the Lord blessing us and showing us, to plant those seeds and to, to help and to extend and, and just to get to back where it's supposed to be. And, just doing the ministry to, to where folks could reconnect back to the Lord.
Mm.
So what does the ministry actually do? Like, when you sent your information, you talked about parent meetups and a couple of other things. So, like, talk to us a little bit more about that.
So basically, we wanted our business to also be
incorporated.
Yeah, incorporated, like, with Christ, overall. And so we never wanted to just do anything outside of Christ. So that's why we're like a ministry,
Okay.
And so with the ministry, it doesn't just focus on like single mothers. It focuses on like just family and whoever. But you can be single in your own family, like.
In which you got single fathers out there too,
That's right. That's right.
And so you can have a family. You could be in a family where it's just divided, so you feel single also, and we realized that when God made the first family, it wasn't supposed to be the way it is now. Like, only through God we could basically have that family that He wants us to have. And so, like, sometimes and within the family, the kids may be given problems. We want to be able to help to provide counseling for that. Sometimes it could be simple as, you guys are not even having family worship, connecting to God, like, and showing them different ways to, I had put in there that, it's not a one size fit all. Like, people, for some reason, people want to do worship in one certain way, but I had to realize that, like, the kids, once they got involved in worship, it was more fun for them. So there'll be times where, like, okay, this Sabbath, you guys plan to worship. And because I had been doing worship for a certain way so long, like, you read the Bible, you read Ellen G. White, you da. When my kids, when they first did worship and they decided to play a short clip video and stuff, I was like, oh, but I was like, no, it wasn't anything. It was about the topic they had. So things like that, like, let your kids be involved. They have talents that they play the ukulele, song service, pick the songs, things like that. It could be, you're not healthy. You guys are not having the best life you can have because the family isn't eating right. So, showing them to cook healthy meals and stuff like that. There are books available and stuff. There, it just kind of
bringing everything.
Yes, like, so it's everyone. It might be a single youth or grown person, whoever, a single person. Just trying to cope through life. They want to be with somebody, just teaching them to be still, to basically
go ahead.
To basically,
I got a comment after she finished.
Okay. To basically, do things that fill your time. So you wouldn't just be constantly thinking about, I'm single, I want to be married, get into some ministry, go out there and help somebody, do things that fill that void. So, just different things. And then marriage too, counseling on marriage and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like the whole full circle of family restoration.
No, I was just wanting to add too is that as young adults, older adults, like I said, people has been through things in this life, and you have people that just don't easily open up, and whatever the trauma has been in their past, it kind of has a grip and a hold on them, and they want to be released from that, but they don't know how. But it's that if they could find a safe place and a safe space, and could find people to confide in and talk to, because I could say that for myself is that I was one and I didn't open up, I didn't talk. But for me, it's like whenever I encounter an individual and it was something about them that I felt comfortable with, it was a whole lot being said without it being said. And so I've always encountered like-minded people like that. And it's like, and somebody come and confide in you. One thing my grandfather always said, he said, Maurice, he said, if a person come and, share something with you, it's not meant for you to be repeating what they told you.
That's right.
He said if it's to be repeated, it'd be by their lips to serve whoever they want to tell.
That's right.
But if they come to you, they felt a reason to come to you. They felt comfortable to come to you.
That's right.
He says, always be a listening ear. And he said, whatever is being said or whatnot, it's not always meant for you to comment.
That's right.
That people just want to be able to vent and release. And, whenever they could, find you of that sort of type of person, he said, man, he said, you will be amazed how much it helped them and helped you. But as far as the restoration part, for people to be able to, to release and to, just to find that safe place and to reconnect, ultimately with the Lord, but to fellowship together as brothers and sisters, though.
Wow, this is really great. Those are some really great gems of wisdom that you all are sharing with us. This is powerful. So for those of you who may just now be coming on, we are Victor and Mia, and this is the Business Heroes podcast. We are founders of Pain Unwasted, an organization that seeks to help entrepreneurs and high-performing professionals be able to show up better with their mental health. And we love what we're hearing. We have here on the show with us Sochel and Maurice, and they've been talking to us about their story and about restoration and how they're able to lift up the family, lift up individuals within families so that they can have a better experience, a better outcome, and ultimately to grow closer to Christ. And I think this is really powerful what you're doing. What I love about you all's story is that you're not like outside observers telling people things, right? You're not giving advice based on what you think. This is lived experience, and I don't know about you, but I've gotten advice from people that don't live in my shoes. They've never had depression. They've not had anxiety. They don't know what it means to be XYZ, right? And then what you should do is
right. And never been
and you know what I'm saying? And what they may be saying, it could even sound good, but there's this part of you that's like, well, how can I be sure, that you know, because you're coming from another place, And so here we have people with lived experience being able to say that restoration is actually possible, and that you can, that's what I'm hearing Sochel say, is you can actually be a content, happy, joyful single mother, providing for your family through the power of God sending people, God empowering you, and not have to settle. And I hear Maurice saying, hey, you can be restored. You can have boundaries. You don't have to just let everybody into your circle. Be a person that brings something to the table and let people in that bring to your table as well. And that's okay. You don't have to just be the sponge and the scrub. The sponge and the scrub, right? But, this is really good, man. Can you believe this? I'm looking at the time like, wow, the show's just about over. I feel like we only just began. But in any case, we want to, are we ready to highlight? We need to put their information up. So you want to get connected to restoration, you need to see how you can get connected to them. I need to get connected with some more of y'all's food. and also have some conversations with y'all. This is really good. Oh, yeah. So just tell us how we can connect to them, Victor.
Well, yes, to connect with Maurice and Sochel Dandy, visit www.familyrestorationministry.com. You can call them at 615-486-9242. And Sochel has a YouTube channel called Adventures with Sochel. Now, I'll tell you this. Sochel has some recipes on her YouTube channel that you want to check out. I saw something about some black bean burger and some other good stuff. So definitely look her up on YouTube. Check them out. I don't know if I'm missing anything else that you want to put on there, but they also have products. And Sochel and Maurice, I want y'all to talk about Don't Spill the Tea.
Yes.
They also sell, if I'm not mistaken, tea that you make on your own, but it also comes with a with more than that. And they also have the book. Like, yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Don't Spill the Tea. So I grew up drinking tea in Trinidad. That's like the norm, drinking tea, right? Not cold tea like the South knows, but warm tea.
Drinking sweet teas.
Medicinal teas.
All right.
Teas that you go outside and you pick the herb and you make it, and it helps you medicinally. And so I realized over here, a lot of people didn't know about teas and stuff like that,
True.
So, and sometimes even if they do drink it, they don't drink it like medicinally, like enjoy it and know that, all the different things it does for them. And so like, even when I met him, like I was his first introduction to like nice, warm, good tea. And so, and since I enjoyed, and whenever people come over, I'll give it to them. And I realized people were enjoying it. It was like a new experience to them. And so when I came up with the name, I was thinking like, what can we do? And so I started thinking about, as women, how we kind of always put each other down and not lift each other up, always gossiping. And I'm like, don't spill the tea. So that's how it came about, so, it's like, and I like when I send the teas, send like a little card, talking about, my experience growing up, drinking tea and how it, tea kind of brings people together, sipping on tea, and so basically it's like, if you have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, just uplift each other. And, if you don't have anything good to say, just go ahead and sip on your tea and enjoy that. Don't say anything, so.
That's great. And real quick, I just want to kind of share my screen to show the website, just so people don't get confused about what they see. So let's see if I can do this correctly.
And while he's pulling it up, we have Raven on here saying, I want some of their food too. And also when you talked about the black bean burgers, Victor's eyes kind of looked at me a little hard, Sochel, so I'm gonna have to get on there. Did y'all see it? I feel like he gave me an extra eye.
I didn't see anything.
Oh, okay, good job. That's right. Don't spill the tea. All right. Okay. I just felt an extra eye when you said black bean burgers. Like, I was like, I better get on the YouTube and look that up. Gotta keep my family restored. All right.
Doing too much.
Too much. Okay, got you.
All right.
Yes. Okay, good. Let us see. How can we connect?
All right. So going to Family Restoration Ministry.com. So this is what it looks like, folks. Can you see it?
No, I don't think so.
Nobody can see it because I need to. Okay, well, unfortunately, it looks
maybe we can put a link in the description box.
Yeah,
okay.
There's already a link in the description.
Okay, good.
But you all will see that. But check that out. In their shop, they have some great things. First, in their banner, you click Shop Books for Sochel's book.
Nice.
Thoughts for Single Moms.
It's a page turner. It is. Okay, It's good.
And they also got the Don't Spill the Tea and Healthy Snacks in the shop. I see apple cinnamon. I see turmeric delight.
Ooh.
I see cold/immunity. We're going to need that. We're heading into fall, winter.
Yes.
Sleep tight, immunity booster, light coffee. Watch out now. Man, They even sell 6 month supplies of teas. So y'all check out their website.
Yes.
For real. And and they also do parent meetups. Can you talk a bit about that?
Okay, so the first official one, so I've been having our little parent meetups and stuff. And okay, disclaimer, it's not just for parents. It's just kind of, so it's for everyone, because I have friends that are coming on there that are parents. Right. And so basically it's a quarterly meetup, and the first official one will be the end of September. I haven't advertised it yet because I haven't picked the exact date. Gotcha. So I and my friend Erica Houston will be the host, but it's not just us talking about things. It will be so the topic is basically balancing your life and like the stresses of like coping with it, and balancing life and stresses that you have going on and stuff like that. And so of course it's going to be a small talk, but it's more like people meeting up and sharing ideas, and it's like a safe place. Non-judgmental, and ask questions, you get advice, people give advice, give ideas, so you take away something, and it's starting from your comfort of your home. So you just pull it up and you have your little snack and just enjoy, and let's talk and have fun, and give each other advice, and just just help each other out like a community.
It's straight up fellowship. That's all it is.
Nice. It sounds very healing. It sounds very therapeutic, because this is what we need. We need things like this where people can meet up, talk, get advice from each other, kind of like going to the barbershop or a beauty salon, right? In our culture, that's a lot of times where we got our mental health information, for good or bad, right? But now, as we know more, we're able to share more and do more to be able to help each other, support one another. I think that's so powerful. Look, Samantha Barclay says, yes, her food is delicious.
All
exclamation point. All right.
So please check them out. And so people can contact you through your website.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Wonderful.
Well, you all, it has been so wonderful having you on today. I feel like the time was just too short. Maybe if you flirt so much, then we have more time. But anyway, we're gonna have you guys back on, okay? We will have you back on so we can learn more about the meetups, how things are going. I feel like I should have some tea here the next time, so that I can be enjoying, like you described. You get what I'm saying? So please, we really want to have you be able to come back on. But thank you. Are there any final thoughts that you all want to share with the audience today before we close out?
One thing really quickly, what I learned from being a single mom and in business, as far as, not settling, like in business also, don't sell yourself short.
Woo!
Know what you're worth, because I realized that it's so bad. I don't want to say it, especially your community of Christian people. They don't want to pay for
services.
And I'm not trying to talk about them, but I guess because they feel like, we know each other, like, but they'll go out there and pay support and pay what it's worth. So don't sell yourself short. Exactly. Because when I started off too, I was scared to charge people because I wasn't charging for my labor. I wasn't charging exactly what it cost, because I was like, maybe people, and believe in yourself, because I know for a fact that it's a gift that God give us, and God isn't going to give you a gift, but expect you to not make a living off of it either.
That's right. Come on now.
Because I feel like, I know that God wants us to be entrepreneurs, working for yourself, so you'd be able to have more time with your family, more time for yourself to spend with Him, not be in the bondage of this world. Thank you.
Yeah.
And have to follow their rules, So I guess that's what I want to, tell people, and just believe in yourself, and it's just something with having purpose, like knowing that this is, it does something for your mental, knowing that this is your purpose. This is, the gift that God has given you, and you're using it. And so, I see.
Awesome. Wow.
What about you, Maurice?
And my final thought is that first and foremost, let the Lord lead, because last time I checked, the Holy Spirit will not steer you wrong.
Right.
And what He has for you is for you. But whatever you may be dealing with, going through, seek the Lord first, and you will find peace.
Amen. Awesome.
Amen.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Well, you have been watching the Business Heroes podcast, and I know you can already see why they are business heroes, Maurice and Sochel. And so thank you all for coming on the show, and thank you for sharing what you do with us and with others. And, go ahead and seek them out, you all. Get that restoration that your family is in need of, okay? And so we will see you again next week when we have some more amazing people on like we've had today. And if you want to see this video, it's going to be available on Facebook, also on YouTube. The links that we've talked about to their business are also going to be there. And we love it if you would like, subscribe, and share. Okay. And so, Victor, is there anything you want to say before we go?
I meant to say this earlier in the show, but I just wanted to shout out Maurice just for, that 9-month waiting period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's long, but he wanted to do stuff right. He wasn't trying to invest in something while he was still, legally married, even though the separation was there. He wanted stuff to be clean, cut, and dry. And I just really appreciated that about him. And so, yeah, that's all I want to say.
That's powerful. And I'm glad you highlighted that because, sometimes I've heard some of my friends who are single, say or wonder, is there anyone out there, do I actually need to settle because maybe my standards are too high? Maybe they're too high because I'm this age or I have kids or whatever the case may be. But Maurice is an amazing guy. And I'm like, Sochel is an amazing woman, and look how, bam, they came together. God did that. And so God can do it for you, and as they said, according to God's will, and God can totally show those who are single how to have that peace. That's what they said in their individual walks. God gave them the peace that they needed so that they could hold to the standards of being pure and all of that wonderful stuff. That's just a whole nother topic altogether. But in any case, I really learned a lot and I'm really grateful for them. So without further ado, we do have to go ahead and go, but we will see you next Sunday. And yeah.
Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all have a blessed day.